What's going on, guys? This is Arthur D. Dickens here. I'm so glad that you guys can tune in with me here live. Um, so, today lesson is simply on. Just want to talk about for a moment um, rich versus poor thinking. Let me just this right quick. Rich versus poor thinking. Okay. Rich versus poor thinking. We're going to be talking about that for a while, for a moment of your time. So, there are a lot of things that we, of course, want to do in life. I want you to grasp and understand the importance of having a rich mentality, which is positivity, versus a poor mentality, right? Which is negativity. So a lot of us are never getting ahead, or we're never getting further than we should be because of our mentality and the things that we're intaking inside of us is keeping us um, in the same place, in the same position. Here's the thing. Here's the two entities between rich versus poor thinking. A rich thinker never complains about the circumstances that they're in. A poor thinker, right, makes a poor decision by keeping themselves in the same position, or rather, I put it like this: a poor thinker puts himself, he or she, in the position of the situation, right? Just because you're going through the problem, just because you go through a problem or situation, it does not mean that you have to live or become that problem, right? A poor thinker creates poor decisions, right, based off them putting themselves, or they creating a developing mind of captivity. Let's put it that way. So you never want to become your problems, but you always want to be a what? Problem solver. The difference between a rich versus poor thinker: a rich thinker always makes a way, versus a poor thinker always makes what? Excuses. Okay, always makes excuses. So you never want to make excuses. Once you develop a mindset, right, of of richness, that means your ability to produce will bring you what? Good harvest. You will benefit great from it. Versus you have an important mindset that will allow you to act and to behave poorly, right? You make poor decisions, and the outcome would be negative, right? So you always want to feed yourself things that can potentially have you benefit good from it long term, right? For instance, if you're saying you want to build this corporation or this company, and you said, I'm not sure how to go about it. Now, here's the difference between a rich thinker versus poor thinker in the two entities here. So a rich thinker say, I'm not sure how to really go about it. I know it's some risky things about that, but see, I'm willing to take it. Why? Because my mind is set on winning, and that's what makes the rich thinker rich. Let me put it in that sense. Rich in every aspect, not just with money wise, but rich in totality, because he's putting his focus and his mind is so much into something that has value, right, and allows him, right, to give him energy, and he's able to produce. Versus a poor thinker that is so complacent in the things, or and so complacent in what could happen, right, and they're scared that you develop fear of that what could happen, right, and the end result is what? Negatively. That's a poor decision. It's a poor thing to do, right? That's the difference between a rich thinker and a poor thinking. So I challenge you to take on the mindset of richness. What is your goal, your dream, your vision that you want to do? Not sure what it is. You know what it is because it's personal. Are you 100% sure, right, that you're able to follow through with it? And it starts by taking on the mindset of richness. I want to be a rich thinker, right, so that my Harvard can be what? Great. I want to benefit well from it. I want to be what? Successful in everything that I do. And only one to be successful, a successful person is successful behind one thing, right? Because they have a rich mentality. Their mind is set on winning. I have to have a rich mentality, right, in order to get to that place or to have that type of success that my heart desires and longs for. So, in other words, I can't settle writing something that is going to deteriorate me and something that's going to um, have me hindered, right? Or rather, me operating in my full ability in living life in abundance, right? So, my mind has to always what be sharpened. My mind has to always be sharpened. I like to say you have to recalibrate the mind. Sometimes we go through certain situations and scenarios that can kind of have us in a debating category. But a rich thinker will always follow through with the plan. They will never quit. You can never stop a quitter from quitting, right? You can never stop a winner from winning. So the only difference is you got the winner and the quitter. A quitter quits, a winner wins. So a poor thinker quits. A rich thinker what? Wins. That's the two difference. And you have to be able to identify which one uh, would you rather take on. Which one's more valuable, right? I did about audio or about to talk about the voice of defeat or silence the voice of defeat. Which voice is more valuable? The voice of purpose or the voice of defeat, right? So I want you to ask yourself, am I going to spend the rest of my life thinking poorly, where I have the ability to think rich, right, and to benefit long term for me? Ask yourself that. Because we're going to face many different obstacles, many different challenges in our life, right? But here's the key: nothing is birthed overnight. There's patience in all things, and this small thing right here, what we call process, that we don't like, right? And we're looking at the process, and we're like, man, I might as well just stop right now because what? It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to us. And do you understand that every single thing in life that we go through, right? Even the dream that we want, the bigger your dream is, the more you have to suffer. The greater your vision is, the greater you have to labor. So you have to understand something. If I want to have this type of success, then I must be willing to handle the process. That's the difference. Dealing and coping with it and handling the situation is totally three different things. When you handle the process, then you can understand the purpose and the significance of pain, of labor behind the process, where eventually will lead you to your greatness. Dealing with something or coping with something means you're miserable in it. You're always complaining. You're always stressing behind it because you don't fully understand the whole significance and the purpose behind it. You're just looking at it as a struggle, but not understanding the purpose behind the struggle. Right? That is a rich thinker. Once you understand the purpose of the struggle, you're still willing to go through it, you're going to benefit great. That is a rich thinker. A poor thinker complains about the struggle because they don't understand it. A rich thinker will always understand. Look at the situation, identify the situation, and develop a mindset. A smart move, what I call a smart move, and say, it must serve I'm pretty sure I'm going to benefit great from this because it's very uncomfortable and very intense. But I know in order for me to get there, I must be able to endure this. That is a rich thinker all day long. And guess what? That person 9 times out of 10 is going to be the one that's making this. That's going to change the world, and do all these great things because of that mindset. It's important for you to develop a mindset of positivity, of richness. Versus your other buddy here says that, man, you must be crazy for pursuing what you're doing, and this don't happen in your life, and you're still trying to build. That is a poor. I'm gonna tell you what, a poor thinker should never be around poor people in the sense of mindset, or be around poor behaviors, poor actions, taking in poor words, right? Gauging around things that are poor. The worst thing a poor thinker can do is be around that type of atmosphere, versus being around a rich atmosphere, which would enable them, right, to produce, and for them to identify who they are and to bring out the best for them to produce. So surroundings is very important as well. Throw it in there. It's very important. So a rich thinker will always identify the purpose. A rich thinker will always resort back to their why. Why I'm doing this? Oh yes, I remember. That's why I'm doing it, and it keeps them going. That is their motivation. It keeps the drive going. A poor thinker will always revert back, and will always in the back of their head remember the situation, what has happened and what's happening now, which is burden on top of burden, pain on top of pain, feeding their struggle, painful things that are unhealthy. It's affecting their present, and it's going to affect their future because you're consistent. And if you're consistent in something long enough, then your outcomes 9 times out of 10 is going to be that. Right? So that's the difference between a rich versus poor thinker. Surroundings, what your intake, and your behavior. Your behavior is based off what you think, right? If you think that you're never going to make it, then guess what? You're never going to make it. If you think that you're going to make it, then guess what? You're going to make it. Somebody can say, oh, that's not going to work. And guess what? For you, it never does. Right? Because you already set your mind, to lose, to fail. Then you become a failure. Somebody says, man, that's not going to work. And then they say, you know what? I think it is. I'm going to give it a shot. And guess what? It works for them. Why? Because they're already putting their mindset to what? To win. That is the rich thinker, my friend. You want to be able to develop a mindset that is rich. Become a rich thinker. Become a rich thinker. If you become a rich thinker, it's impossible for you to lose. It's impossible for you to even operate in impossible. There's no such thing as impossible in your book because you already made possibilities, right? Because your mindset is rich. You develop that mindset to win no matter what, no matter what nobody says, or no matter what life throws at you. You're making winning your obligation, as I've said times before. You're having a rich mentality, right? You're making rich thoughts your first priority. Like, I have to think this way in order for me to have this, to be this, right? To go there, to go to this place, to live that. See, that is the difference, my friend. That is the difference. Understanding the concept of the importance of having a rich mentality versus a poor mentality. A poor mentality will only enable you to do and to live in poor environments and to act and to produce poor behaviors. A rich mentality will always enable you to live in rich environments and to produce rich things. Okay, does that make sense to you? So keep that in mind. As I said this before, write this down if you will, that positivity is the start and finish of a problem which exemplifies majority. Always say that. Always say that. Those are the number. Always say that. That is the number one rule of success. Okay. I'm gonna say it again. Positivity is the start and finish of a problem, any problem, all problems, which exemplifies maturity. Because just because you're going through a negative thing, it does not mean that you have to respond in a negative way, right? Positivity will always outwin the odd. Just because you're going through an odd situation that you might not be familiar with, that might be uncomfortable, that might attack you, does not mean, right, that is permanent. You have to be able to look at that situation and say, you know what? It hurts, it's tugging at me, but guess what? I'm going to feed the struggle positivity things, positive things. The worst thing you can do is feed your struggle negative things. You don't want to go through a struggle and then cause 2 or 3 more outbreaks of struggleness that you do not have to necessarily go through over something that you call out of something that is temporary, that's supposed to be permanent, short-lived, right? Think about that. Think about that. Once you begin to understand that concept, once you begin to understand the importance of having a rich mentality versus a poor mentality, then you'll be like, okay, man, wow, I need to be able to control my feelings, my actions. I need to be mindful of what I think, right? Of what I think, because whatever I think, I speak, I say. Why? Because it's in my heart. Whatever's in the heart, it comes out, right? So I must develop a mindset of positivity. I have to have a rich mentality. I don't want to have a poor mentality. I can't afford to have a poor mentality, right? I can't afford, because my life depends on it. Each thought that I create in my mind, right, that determines my lifestyle. Each thought that I develop, and I follow through with that thought, it determines my outcome, whether it's bad or good, right? Either or. Either or. Take that in mind, my friends. Think about that. Meditate on that. Say a lot on that. Okay? You have to be, it's very vital for you to have a rich mentality. To think richly. Not to think poorly, but to think richly. Because your outcome determines whatever you think. Because first you have to think in order for it to be made into what reality. That's the most important thing, my friend. That is the purpose behind rich versus poor thinking. So tune in with me once more again, which is tomorrow night, which is the last night, part 3. And I hope that you all got something from it, and stay in tune. Those that are tuning in with me, they're listening. I'm actually getting ready to head over there to Instagram. I'm doing all the social media on rich versus poor thinking tonight, which is every night. So tune in with me. I'm looking for your presence. Thank you.